Alright, welcome back to the Illuminati Broadcast. So I tried to do some sneaky stuff on my computer, but it wouldn't work at the same time. Alright, so let's get back to the story a little bit. Alright, for the strategy. Alright, so we have, when I was looking back at the cards, I think it was like a jester clown thing for the light. It was the fiend hands for the fiend, a treasure box for the dream, and then for the shadow it was actually a dark elf. And I guess you can see dark elf as being kind of vampiric, right? But it was up there. I think it's a very interesting strategy. It's something I have to focus on. Dang, this is gonna be kind of tough. Let me see. And I guess for the shadow she is kind of seductressy. Alright, so if my character is a light attribute, because it's in the east, because it's a Gemini, so it's wind and air, and it's going after Aries. It uses Aries as a weapon, but it uses its light to, maybe it can create like a distant light where it throws out the light further towards Artemis, and all the light mannequins follow that light, and then I can have Hermes go in, eat all the light mannequins, get really full and heavy, and then have Artemis eat the light mannequin. And then I can have my Artemis eat the shadow mannequin, which would be Hermes. And the reason why I want to get rid of my mannequins is because they don't belong to me. They're part of these guys, but they're just mannequins like all scattered around me in my domain. And everywhere you go, there's going to be a combination of all these. So like I was saying earlier, like Kat is in the shadow domain, so she's with all the earth mannequins and stuff like that. And then the guy that said that he doesn't follow anybody's laws, he's under Artemis's domain, because Artemis is the water and it rules over like basically all the population that doesn't fit in between either of these and isn't worshiping them. So if somebody's not actively worshiping this one or this one, usually it falls under his domain. And then obviously mine has the light domain. Well, now that I think about it, he might be under my domain then, because, and maybe I wouldn't say that they trade their masks, but they have like a born affinity to them. So maybe he is a Capricorn, I think, right? So he would be Earth, so he'd be here. Cat, I'm not sure what her zodiac sign is. I keep forgetting it. Actually, was in August, so might be a Virgo, which would be Earth. I wonder if that's how it works. And if you say you don't believe in God, that makes you a pretty good actor, right? Because everybody believes in God and they believe in all of that stuff. So they play it off like, oh, I'm like really good at acting and trust. But thieves can be trustworthy because you can trust that a thief is going to steal from you, and they will play it off so they can get close to you and steal from you. That's what the mannequin does. All right, anyway, so yeah, I'm basically creating a light that like brightens the other light mannequins around me, and then Hermes gets fat off of all of them, and I have to find a way to carry Hermes that way. So maybe I can have Ares capture Artemis, and use Artemis to capture Hermes, and then destroy Ares. So I end up destroying all three with one blow. I don't know if you ever played those games where you have to match 3 and then it just pops, or 4 or more and then it pops them, or like Bust a Groove when he shoots the marbles and it explodes. I love that game. That was like one of my favorite games. This is kind of like that. You gotta kind of line it up and so I'm gonna be like, oh, I could do that. I could have like the light mannequins kind of curb this way towards Hermes and then go towards Artemis. So while he's like eating at them, and then he ends up there and then he gets eaten by Artemis, and then I can have Ares swoop in, break Artemis, and then I break Ares. So it's this like I send my light out, cast it, swing it around a little bit, get the attention of Hermes, have it go to Artemis, have Hermes follow it, have him devour all the light mannequins that follow the light, and then have Artemis will obviously do his own work and eat them because he has no choice. He can't resist the temptation. And then Ares will rip up Artemis, and then I'll destroy Ares. Okay, so this part is kind of crucial. Okay, remember, these characters all love my character, and my character loves them. So my character has to be very careful because, let's say I do get further in the game, and there's always going to be that, like, what if seduction kind of thing. So it's kind of saying, like, at the end I have to destroy Ares, right? Like, my weapon of choice, I have to destroy Ares. Boom. Or what if I destroy Ares and I use him, like, as a monster part? So I create this kind of, like, necromancy in a bit, where I use the parts of the fiend and I send it to attack that one. That would be kind of interesting. But the main thing is, like, if these ever try to, like, come back and try to ask, like, for me to seduce them or take them back, I have to remember to destroy them. So I think that's why it's better to destroy, or to give Hermes what he wants, have him go back to Artemis, have Artemis eat him, and then have Ares eat him, and then have my character eat him. It's kind of a crazy story so far. And I don't mean figuratively eating them, but I think these guys will literally eat them. But I think my character might just, like, a light, I can think of the light as just, like, shining down and just, like, burning away whatever is evil. So I'm kind of trying to do that. But I have to get rid of these light mannequins surrounding me, so that could be part of the game. Alright, so they have all these mannequins, all these mannequins, all these ones, all these ones. How do I use that? So I'm grabbing all these mannequins, the light mannequins, and I'm making them curb this way. Or maybe I can have the light ones destroying the fiends and coming up to Artemis, and then Hermes wants those ones, so he eats them. But there's, like, too much control factor right there. So I have to send these light ones up towards Hermes, or make, like, this brightness beacon bright enough that it shines on them, and then have Hermes eat them. And then he gets full and hungry. Well, maybe not full, because they can never be full. They're always hungry. They're like bottomless pits. So he's just like, whoa, I can eat so many. And then I have him following the light until he gets to Artemis. And he's already eaten all those light ones. And he's, like, kind of floating away. And Artemis is like, ooh, I want that. And he takes it. Because they can't resist destroying each other. They can't resist eating each other's spirit. And remember, everyone has two spirits, the Ba and the Ka. So the Ba is what everyone sees, our sun sign, and then you have your Ka, which is the moon sign, which everybody hides. And I'm putting their moon into Berserk and their sun into a piece. So their sun is like, oh, I'm super happy, I'm super grateful, I'm super good. So they don't literally have to physically attack them unless they're already, like, pretty broken and shattered, and they're going to do it anyways. And that's also a good thing, but the thing I have to focus on is the Ka, which is their shadow aspect, and put that under Berserk. So while these guys are, like, rallying up here, maybe they're thinking that I could have them think I could take one of these ones and use it as an illusion. Yeah, because, well, I mean, I guess I have to find a way to get these guys to all destroy each other. So maybe I can have the light coming this way, or bouncing like this, and then having this guy come down this way and coming out like that. I don't know. I have to destroy all these light mannequins. I'm wondering, can I defeat the fiends on my own, or do I need the light mannequins to help me destroy those fiends? Do I use these light mannequins to destroy them and then have, like, a false light go this way, and then they kind of follow that light and they get stuck in this realm? He destroys them, and then there has to be something that makes this guy want that. Maybe if he sees that he has so much energy, I have to manipulate Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this light magic. Alright, and then after that, maybe have the light go this way towards Artemis, so that he ends up going over there and getting destroyed by him. And then I'm left alone and I can't really reach that far. Jeez, okay. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna have to use my energy to pull in Hermes. So pulling in Hermes to come and attack, to come get these light mannequins, and then sending these light mannequins to the fiends to destroy them, and so it's dragging all these shadows with them. And then have that light go this way towards Artemis, so then Artemis destroys these ones and the fiends destroy each other, and then the lights, and it's just like a conglomeration of destruction. I can kind of do that. Okay, that seems like a better strategy. I'm not thinking of any like negative outcomes in that one because everything gets destroyed. So I have to seduce Hermes, comes down this way, have the light and the shadows going down towards the fiends, having them all attack each other till they get here, and then they just start destroying each other little by little. And that might be bad or good. But I have to also use them as puppets, so I can grab their Archon to attack the water, the dream, and then I can have Hermes. I have to figure out how to use Hermes. I have to figure a way to make Hermes like get damaged really easily. So maybe I'll have Hermes wrap around Ares energy. Okay, so the other day I was trying to think of like a familiar that I could create, and I wanted to create like a ram that was like a berserker, so almost like a minotaur, but with like maybe an axe or something, to show that he's like really savage. And then, but I wanted to cover him in gems, so maybe that makes sense. That's like those gems are what like the shadows attached to. So while he's getting hit by Artemis, it's destroying the shadows and weakening him. Boom, 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 boom. And it gives him enough time to just keep swinging at Artemis and breaking it. And while he's doing that, I could be infusing him with these mannequins to break them apart. But those mannequins are getting drained by the shadows. Okay, I can kind of see it now. I'm just trying to come up with a strategy to like, because I want to be able to sleep and like relax and not have to focus on the magic and let the magic do its own work, but I need it to be prepared. So I need a familiar that's going to be doing the magic for me, that's going to be doing the actions that I need in that astral realm. That's something I can trust, and I feel like that's going to go in the right direction of what I want. Yeah, and I just see Ares as, the ram, so I'm going to create this like berserker ram. I always like the one from Final Fantasy Tactics, when I think his name is Wygriff, and he becomes a giant ram, four-armed titan ram thing, and it's like all demonic and crazy and destroying everything. But yeah, I'm gonna do something similar to that. That'll be pretty fun and cool. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've come up with a strategy that might work, that might come to my advantage, and I just have to find ways to trick Hermes. So I have to find a way to throw the light and use the light as like a distraction, and then trap him into the stones, so that way he gets used. So I guess I could be feeding those stones light and having the fiend attack, and then I can have those stones destroying the fiend at the end, like all that weight. I mean, it sounds like a really good strategy, and I haven't seen any like loopholes or anything wrong with this so far. It sounds pretty good. Trying to think what else could I add to the story. So what's today? Wednesday? So everybody's fighting in the northern domain right now. And the northern domain would be the shadow domain. That would be like Lancaster and Palmdale. And that place is a big desert. But in the Castle Demon Lord, I want it to be a desert forest, but with castles everywhere. And those castles belong to me. But it's like a beautiful city that's like designed to be progressive and meant for like my family and friends, and it's just a safe haven. But at the same time, it's like ruled by minotaurs that are like running around making sure that the city's clean, that nobody breaks the Demon Lord's laws, that nobody betrays him, and if there's any mannequins around, they destroy them. So like a paladin Minotaur paladin kind of thing. But if there's satyrs, maybe I can have satyrs in the woods around it that are like always watching and using magic to look for mannequins and destroy them. So I guess I can create these familiars too in this idea. So while I create this like super strong familiar that I use to attack, and then I'm also using this spell magic, this puppet magic, while I'm using Ares and Hermes and Artemis. So I'm fighting Artemis. I'm using Hermes as like this devourer energy to like destroy anything negative around me. And then I have Ares going in to destroy Artemis. But I have to throw. Okay, I can have Hermes devour all the energy around me. That's light mannequin energy, so all the posers around me, and then throw it, or I can have it just eat all the light, because remember, all the mannequins are going to be scattered kind of. So I can have Hermes just like devour all the light mannequins, infuse Ares the fiend with a ton of the shadow energy, like these gems, as like a protection charm, and then have him like ramming into Artemis until it, and Artemis gets stronger from it, but it also breaks apart that shield that Ares has, and that's breaking away these guys that just ate these guys. And then eventually he gets like real buffed up, it destroys him, but then I can have like a light infusion going through to like break apart Ares and Artemis at the same time, so there's nothing left. So it's just like this battle where they destroy each other. Oh boy, that's a lot of work. I'm gonna have to. Oh, I should look up like what light attribute monsters they have, what fiend monsters they have, what dream and shadow monsters they have as displayed on Yu-Gi-Oh card game, Dark Duel Shadow Stories or something. I don't know. And then kind of like look at them and try to figure out what I can do with that strategy and how I can use that, because I feel like they've gone through this, they've seen it from a distance, so they know a little bit better about what's going on, and they have like a really good imagination, they have time and money to like invest into these things, and they're really bent on like revealing the truth in that way. So I can use that to my advantage. What else do we have? It's 7:59, it's almost 8 o'clock, I still have a little bit of time. Alright, we're fighting off these things. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You know how you have the lesser banishing ritual? It's kind of like that, which I hate. I think it's so stupid. I don't think the old one's dumb. I think the way they do it now is dumb. But I gotta remember, mannequins are using magic too, so the way they use it is to kind of dilute the whole magical process and mess it up and do as much damage to the magical process. That way when an Atlantean uses magic, they're like kind of hindered. I think also in Yu-Gi-Oh there were like Atlanteans, so this might be fun to kind of like dive into. And if anything, the Egyptian energy wins at the end, right? So maybe I could just consider everybody that is on my team basically Egyptian, right? Just to kind of keep it with the lore. I don't know, I like to follow certain lores. Alright, so anyways, I'm calling down Hermes to devour all this light energy around me, and then I'm shooting out some kind of light that goes towards Artemis. Hermes goes that way, takes all the energy, they devour it, and then I take that light away while he's devouring all these things, because I don't want it to keep feeding off my light. And then I have to find a way to push the fiend towards the darkness and the treasures, and then it destroys them. I'm just gonna have to use some kind of puppet magic. That's the only thing I can think of. But like, what else could I use besides puppet magic? So if I use puppet magic, grab a fiend, send it that way, and have it attack them. But I have to also think, what else could I do? So maybe that water energy, the what is this called again? The dream is gonna want that light in a sense, because that light gives it those shadows that it feeds off of. So it's probably like waiting to eat them. Okay, so I can kind of draw in draw in that dream with the light and have it eat the shadows while the shadows eating the... Okay, so I could have like a buffet of light mannequins for the shadow to eat, and then I can draw in... I could like shoot out this way a little bit and then draw it in, and then these are gonna see this and follow it and attack it and then get dispersed, right? Because I'm gonna be destroying them along the way. Okay, I can kind of see that. Have them all attacking each other, but they'll be really close to me. But that'll be okay. I think that should be fine, because then I can see the action up close and then really hit the mannequins around me, because there's a lot of mannequins that are around me that need to be destroyed. Because if these stay alive, then these are the ones that are gonna keep manipulating the system, because they have that constant source of energy, which is gonna be me. And unless I move around, then it's going to be difficult for me to move around, because I have to be kind of strategic. I can't do all this stuff. I have to just stick where I'm at, and then I have to have them destroyed. Okay. Let's see what else we have. I just thought of some... Oh yeah, so Wednesday we have everybody in the northern domain. So if I had everybody fighting in this like castle, desert, forest town, and I have the satyrs. Alright, I need to remember to work on that. Work on the familiars. So I have this familiar, the berserker, as my main primary attack one, to go and attack everything and take all these energies and get stronger off of it. And then I have to have the minotaurs as like these policemen that are running around destroying everything else. And maybe they can drain out of the shadow. So while these shadows guys, like, they become their boss or their cause. The ba and the cause. So they'll become their cause. So they'll be the cause. Maybe? No. I have to make them... Do I make them out of their shadow, or do I make it out of something else? I think I make it out of something else and have them replace the mannequin. So these familiars are going to be replacing the mannequins, so the mannequins can't respawn in that energy. But instead, a familiar will take its place, and the familiar will destroy more mannequins and keep things in order and lawful. And yeah, okay. So I have these minotaurs here. I'm also thinking like I could have the minotaurs come and attack the air signs over here. All right, which one actually might work? So I could have them like attacking over here, and then have the air signs attacking this way, and then the fire attacking the water, and then the water attacking the shadows. Okay. Yeah, so we have Capricorn. He's in the shadows, obviously. He's an earth sign. He can kind of be seen as like, you know, the satyrs or the goblins maybe, but like they're living in the mountains, deformed creatures, scary as fuck, and they're out hunting mannequins. Like, oh, if they see a mannequin, they like attack them and destroy them. And it might be a bit of a struggle, but I think I can manage it somehow. How do I get these guys to attack these ones? Oh, maybe if like, because everybody gets transported to that domain on those days, so all these signs get stuck here. So I can have these guys eating all the air signs while that's happening, and Virgo eating those too. But Virgos is mainly going to be like the nymphs, the nereids, like beautiful women that live in the mountains maybe, that are like female fairy spirits of some sort. Like they're just strong women that are doing virtuous things that are all about nature. And I can have them living in this area. Maybe there's not too many, maybe just a few of them. But I have to make them really strong. And then have a whole bunch of satyrs that like listen to them and go out and cause havoc upon the other signs, so the air signs. And then I have the minotaurs destroying the air signs and these satyrs destroying the air signs. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so when I draw this out, I'm going to have to like really look at the map and then draw out what the satyrs look like, all these characters, and put them in there and just file them down and try to come up with some strategies. Okay, so Wednesday. That sounds like a good strategy to have Shadow help me defeat these light mannequins, because I still have to, like, no matter what, these light mannequins are going to get on my nerves. So let's see. If everything around me is in the north right now, all their spiritual energy, and then I have the satyrs watching, I have to have them be brave and bold enough to go out into the battlefield and find the mannequins and take them and destroy them. Okay, and then I have to have the minotaurs like steer everybody around. So how does Earth herd So if I was in the earth domain and I was earth, not light, so I would be shadow. If I was shadow, how would I be able to control the battlefield? So it would be like the reverse of things. So I would need to use light, and I would need to destroy dream, and I would need to use light to destroy fiend. No, I would have to destroy fiend, and I would need light. I could use light to destroy fiend, and I need fiend to destroy dream. So if I'm shadow and dream destroys me, so maybe like a shadow can come this way and get destroyed by dream and lead it to fiend. How would I do that in the shadow realm? Alright, so I can see myself as a dancer, and it's kind of like, I always think of dancers as a distraction. So I could be distracting a bit, and I'm using the shadows. I'm like lifting it up into the sky, creating like ghosts. And then I send those ghosts out towards the dream and have the dream chase them. And then I have them wrap around the fiend and have them, because I still need the dream to defeat. Well, not in this case, because in this case I'm the shadow, right? So in this case, these shadows are going to be my familiars, but I have to empower them, stronger than the mannequins. So while I destroy these mannequins, I can create my own shadow familiars that I can use as like ghosts. Okay. And then I have dream coming in. It falls into this illusion and it gets stuck into this fiend pit, and they all attack each other. But I have to do that up here in this shadow domain. So yeah, that kind of works. I just gotta figure out a little bit about the clues. Yes, queen. I can have, how do I do this? Alright, so let me think. How would I get the fiends to participate in the battle if it's a shadow domain? So a fiend eats. Okay, so this might be a good time for the fiends. Alright, so I would have to have, let's see, what would I do to the fire mannequins? So the fire mannequins might survive on days like this, right? So I have to find a way to still destroy them, because the light destroys them, and then shadow feeds off light, and then dream. Jeez, this is so difficult. It's like reverse engineering everything that I learned from this one. Well, tomorrow's Thursday, so I would have to be in the dream. So let's kind of, okay, well, now we got kind of an idea. Let's go towards the dream real quick. So that's the west, that's the water. We would be teleported to like Lake Elizabeth, okay? And then there it's going to be like mermaids living in these pools of water. And I want to have like the ocean kind of coming into Santa Clarita. So that's all going to be like Jupiter and the moon energy right there. Because San Fernando Pacoima is going to be the moon domain. And then we're going to have Santa Clarita and Lake Elizabeth being the Jupiter domain. So this water comes in, there's all this water everywhere, but we have Pisces energy and Virgo. So Virgo's in these kind of poppy fields watching over everything. And then towards Lake Elizabeth, we have all these Pisceans. So I have to think like water elements or spirits of water. So not just mermaids. I could think of like gems and crystals and like magical creatures that are like treasures, basically. And see what else we have. Yeah, I'm gonna have them over here and as bait in certain ideas. Okay. Alright, so this is where we're gonna be, in the Lake Elizabeth area, Santa Clarita, when Jupiter domain comes in. So that'll be Thursday. That's tomorrow. So if everybody's bunched up there, I'm gonna have to think as a dream energy, how would I be advantageous? So the water spirits and the gems and the treasure boxes, the mimics, the mimes, and what else is that called? Mermaids and sirens and things like that. I have to use those to my advantage, like aquatic spirits, sea serpents, etc. And those would do primarily good at destroying the shadow mannequins. So the shadow mannequins are going to come here. So everything that's doing good today and getting a lot of energy is going to be there, and it's going to be ripe. And so then Jupiter can eat that, and I can use that for my Jupiter instead of Artemis using it. So I can use that Zeus energy and just devour all these shadows so that I have less depression around me. Because that's what mannequins do. They exude certain emotions. Alright, so I'm going to have the water domain destroying all these shadows. Okay, my battery's kind of going low. I got a little bit of an idea. I'm going to try to draw it out. And then tomorrow I'll try to explain what I get so far out of the strategy. Alright, this was Castle Demon Lord. My name's David Moore. This is the Illuminati Broadcast. Just leave a comment, subscribe, like, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, this is just strategies for me to how to beat you guys in the Mannequin Wars. And I gotta remember to put the microphone a little further so it doesn't mess up the speaker. Alright, thank you, bye.